If you're looking for a movie with a strong social political theme, some romance, and a lot of slapping, then Maamannan is the movie for you. Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Watch by Ashley, where we take a look at some of the new releases on streaming and video on demand and discuss whether or not they're worth the watch. Today, of course, we're going to be taking a look at Maamannan, which you can currently catch on Netflix. So the writers and actor strikes are official in Hollywood, and I think that means that for the rest of 2023 and into 2024, a lot of the highly anticipated Hollywood films are definitely going to be put on pause, and it's going to be a slow time for releases, whether it be streaming or in theaters. So I think this is a good chance for audiences to explore and watch some more international movies. Like, we've had a lot of really good traction over the years. Like, of course, as I did a previous review for RRR, that really smashed everyone's expectations. Then you had Parasite for Korean dramas, or like even Train to Busan. So like there's a lot of really awesome international movies, and with the strike going on, I do think this is an opportunity to expand your horizons and watch different films. Maamannan came onto my radar unexpectedly, but I'm really glad that I watched it. It is a Tamil movie. It really centers on caste-based discrimination, which a lot of people, I think, assume that's something from like the Middle Ages and doesn't really exist anymore, but this movie really does tackle the fact that it is a prevalent issue and it is overlooked and something that we should really take to heart. The film was written and directed by Mari Selvaraj, and I have to tell you, this movie is definitely worth the watch. It does have a runtime of about 2.5 hours, so keep that in mind if you start the movie. I mean, you could start it and pause it. I do have to give credit to Mari Selvaraj because this movie is very emotional. I think that's the strongest thing about this movie, is the fact that it is emotionally impactful while dealing with such a serious topic. I do want to give the film a review in terms of like a rating. So spoilers going forward, in case you want to watch the film, don't want to have it spoiled. There's going to be some things kind of discussed in detail here. If you want, you can skip to the end and see what my overall rating is. But let's get into it. So the first strength for the movie for me definitely is the performances by Fahadh Faasil and Vadivelu. I thought they were fantastic in their roles. So Fahadh Faasil, he's playing a district secretary for the political party that's currently in power, and he is really ambitious. Like, he just wants to go up in the ranks, and he doesn't care who he steps on or what he has to do. Like, he treats the people around him like he treats his dogs, and that's not very good. And then we have Vadivelu playing the title character, and I think he does a fantastic job. Like, he plays like the father who is really carrying the burden of failing his son, and you can tell like this is something that he carries with him everywhere he goes and whatever interactions he's having, added to the fact that he hasn't spoken to his son in 15 years. Like, it's weighing a toll on him, right? And you can just feel that in his performance, and I thought that was really fantastic. Another strength for the film is definitely the cinematography. So Mari Selvaraj, he did a fantastic job in terms of emphasizing some scenes in black and white, and I like when I was watching the scenes, so like, this is a genius choice because it really does hone in your emotions and your senses to what's going on screen. There's a scene where our main character Vera, he's a young boy in his village, and he's just with his friends, like 3 of his friends having a good time. They hop into this watering hole, but there's some older gentlemen who are of a different caste, who are in a higher caste, and they're annoyed by the boys going in the water. Like, they don't think that they should be in there. And so these grown men end up throwing stones at these boys and end up killing 3 of the boys. And it's horrible. And it's emotionally gut-wrenching, you know, seeing this, because they're just defenseless boys. And it really does make your blood boil. You get to see it from Vera's perspective, just the pain that he goes through, because he's calling out to his dad. And then we get to see Maamannan's attempt to try to get justice for his son and these boys. And even though he's trying to work his way up in politics, he doesn't have the power or the sway to have anything done. In fact, they brush everything under the rug because these are boys from a lower caste, and they just say the rocks around the watering hole collapsed in and killed the boys. So there's no justice. And for that event, it ends up ruining the father-son relationship for 15 years. Like I said, It was beautifully captured. You could feel everything in that scene, and the black and white really just enhanced it. Another pro for the movie definitely is the storytelling. They did a really fantastic job here showing just how much a traumatic event can affect someone in their adult years. So with Vera, like, he's really upset with his dad because he feels like his dad did not get justice for him and his 3 friends who passed away due to the rock throwing event. And like I said, through that flashback and the depiction of it, you can just see kind of why there's so much hurt feelings. And I just have to give credit to Selvaraj and the fact that, like, these layers that he had here, I thought were really impactful. And you, with the great acting, like, you could actually feel the severity of it, to go 15 years without speaking to your son because, you know, you failed him, and it's just your own regret that's blocking or preventing you or really damaging a relationship. I think it is very relatable because in families, when you have fights, things fester and it gets out of control. And I thought that was really great. And the fact that they end up turning it around and rekindling their bond, it came full circle. And that, I think, is definitely a major strength for the movie. Another strength of the film is definitely going to be the tension building. So there's a scene where Maamannan is told to sit down by his son at a table where they're gathering, and he typically stands when he's in the presence of other political figures. In the culture, not sitting down or being offered to sit down is seen as like you're beneath the people around you because they don't even want to offer you the courtesy of having a seat. And this really rubs his son the wrong way. And there's a scene where, like, the son is demanding that his father sits when he was offered a seat, and the father's just like, no, it's okay. But, like, it has like this building of tension, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, a simple thing like sitting down becomes the catalyst for the events that take place. And, you know, it just goes to show, like, that level of respect or caring for your father meant so much to Vera. And I just thought it was, like, really great to have that back and forth and see where it would go. So that was a pretty great scene. Another great strength for the movie is the messaging here. One thing I really have to say about South Asian films is there's usually a strong message in the films, which I really feel is lacking in North American movies. Like, it really isn't a strong moral to the story. But here, that is the case. We have strong imagery. I really do like the fact that Vera and Vadivelu were represented by their animals that they interacted with. So our hero here, he really does care for pigs, and there's a reason for that, like we get to see in the film. So pigs mean a lot to him, and this is kind of seen as a strange thing in their culture because pigs are typically seen as like low grade animals because they kind of eat anything and they just roll around in mud and they're dirty. But he cares for them and he treats them with respect, and he really does feel for the pigs when they end up getting slaughtered by the dogs. And it just goes to show, like, to him, like, every life matters and everyone deserves respect, because he even paints the pigs and he says that he imagines them with wings and like what it would be like if the pigs could fly above everyone who looks down on them. And I thought that was really showing of his character, because he kind of is an optimist who really is guided by a moral compass and he wants things to be done right, versus our villain. He's always surrounded by dogs. He races the dogs, and he treats the dogs the way he treats the people around him. Once they stop being useful, he ends up discarding them, and he lives a bit of a lonely life. Even though he has a family, he does seem like he's very lonely or very distraught, and he's just focused on his political aspirations. And I just like the fact that we got to see this dichotomy between the characters. And especially with Vera and his love for the pigs, it's almost like a representation of the caste system. Like, you know, they're still animals. They still deserve respect. They still deserve care, just like people in lower caste systems. Like, they're still human beings, right? They still deserve to be treated with love and respect. So I really thought that was great. It was a good moral of the story. Like, treat everyone with respect. If you treat people badly, it will come back to you. Violence begets more violence, right? And I thought that was a really good moral here. So now I want to get into the weaknesses of the film. So the first weakness for the film, I really thought it was strange that they established a romance between Vera and Leela. It was really well done. I really liked it, but then they kind of trailed off from it. It wasn't really revisited, and I thought that was a missed opportunity because they did such a great job establishing it and showing just how much Vera cares for Leela, but we didn't have any more of that. So that kind of left me scratching my head a little. The next kind of weakness for the film would be with Leela. Like, they did a really good job establishing her character at the beginning because she was kind of like a rebel. She was going out of her way to treat underprivileged children, and even though people tried to stop her, she put her foot down and she's like, no, this is important to me. And I thought we would have had a lot more of that strong female character. Um, and typically I complain about strong female characters in movies, but I just thought because they had done such a good job establishing this personality of hers that we would have saw that in the second half. And I don't think we really did, so another missed opportunity. The biggest weakness of the film is definitely the pacing. So the first half is very strong and very entertaining, but then we get into the second half and I feel the movie does fall off a bit because it focuses on elections and getting votes and trying to weed out your adversaries, and it just felt like it slowed down a lot and became very predictable. So in that sense I thought it was a bit unfortunate. So as you can see, my rating for the film is 7 out of 10. I definitely do think this movie is worth a watch. It might not be a kind of a repeat watch like RRR might be, but it's definitely a movie that you should watch because it has a really good message. Like I said, the biggest strong is the message that it tells, and just the fact that it has a good moral to the story, and it's very emotional. And the underlying theme of the movie is that we're all born equally and should be treated as equals. Like, you shouldn't think just because you're born ahead of someone in life. Like, that's not how life works. And I really think that's an important theme and lesson for people to take into account. And this movie is good for a wider audience to have people aware that this is still happening. And people don't get validation or justice for the wrongs that are done to them just because they were born in a lower class. And I think that should be abolished and not the case at all anymore. So definitely this movie gives exposure to that. So those are my thoughts in regards to Maamannan. Let me know in the comments below if there's another international film I should take a look at. I really do want to watch some films from other parts of the world and see kind of what's going on. And I'd love to hear any recommendations you have. If you've seen the film, please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. I'd love to have a discussion with you. But that's all I have for today, so thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content here, please consider giving me a like so someone else can find the video, or hit that subscribe button so you can see what else I've been up to. But until next time, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye!